Good evening, fellas. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Cool, cool, cool. Looks like we're up. Looks like it's working. Hmm. Hopefully, the audio is a little bit better than last week. Since last week, I've moved computers twice. So hopefully, things are resolved. Um, the first thing I'm gonna get into tonight, I had some questions in the Patreon. Particularly, hey Matthew, welcome. But I had a question about instead of just posting STL files, if I would post the 3MF files for the Bamboo users. Um, I'm willing to look into that. Um, Audio is cool. Thank you. Yeah, but it's like I gotta learn. It's if it's Bamboo, it's super easy, but I still gotta learn how to do it, and I haven't had a chance. So I'll look into that. I would warn, however, if you're getting into 3D printing, um, best to kind of not look for shortcuts. Don't let people slice stuff for you. That's kind of the meat and potatoes of how you get good at it, and you kind of just got to jump in and know that sometimes your prints are going to fail. Um, but yeah, don't rely on a crutch. But I will look into it for folks. Uh, but in the meantime, what we're going to do is I'm going to bring up Bamboo Studio, and what I said I would do is I'll go through uh, my preferences in Bamboo as they currently exist. And again, I haven't been printing with it that long. I'm still learning, but I'm getting results I'm really happy with. So I'll show you what I'm doing, and if that's for you, cool. If not, then no big deal. So I'm just opening Bamboo Studio up. I should have been a pinch more prepared. Anywho, not too much else going on since Monday. Um, surprise, I'm like old and fat. So like I've got some health stuff. So I was at the VA hospital a little bit last week. My dog had surgery last week, and here, uh, like an idiot, I've been like cooking him food. He's so spoiled. He's gonna just be impossible after this week of me like baking him salmon and sweet potatoes. He's allergic to chicken or something. Chicken's in everything. All right, Bamboo Studios up. So let me share screen. Do a quick tab and get over there. I was trying to avoid that. I'm sorry. So we go over to our device. Hopefully you guys can see everything all right. Um, so regardless of which Bamboo I'm printing on, and I have three. I've got a P1P, uh, a P1S and an H2S. Regardless of which one I'm printing on, the settings I use are the same. Let's see. What do I have I can bring in here? Uh, let's see. Nope. So like I was saying, I've switched computers a couple times, and none of my files are on this computer. They are on the there. I got it. So I have an external hard drive where I'm temporarily kind of working off of, and but the laptop I'm on only has two USB ports. One is taken by the webcam right now. Um, oh, that'd be perfect if I could just bring that up again. What's this button do? What's this button do? Nothing. Anywho, let's see if I can bring this up without too much of an issue. And I'll get the main body. There we go. And now I'm gonna plug the mouse back in because I hate touchpads with all my heart. not part of my heart, the whole heart, USB. Of course, I had to plug it in, right? You know, it didn't work. Take it out, flip it over, try and plug it in, take it out, flip it over, and then it went in. For poops and giggles, we're going to talk about something before I get into this. When I first built this, my intention had absolutely been to print it like this, but because this is such a like a shallow angle to the print head, like it turned out really ugly, and as a result, I switched to printing it like that. Now, because this face here is flush with the bed, or 90 well, yeah, parallel with the bed, sorry, it's pretty ugly when it prints. And then, you know, of course, the solution to that could be just angling this thing a bit more. And I gotta quit touching stuff while that tool is activated. Oh my god. All right. So because that's 90 to the bed, it's kind of ugly. I'm toying with the idea of maybe chipping away at. I really like having a face on the surface of the print bed, so it's not just being held by supports. But I could angle this. You know, I could probably get away with something like that, and that should clean this up. But it should clean up a couple things actually. So we'll try it like that. But back to the first tangent I was on, printing it like this. So what I've recently learned is that you can come up here to this tool and hit adaptive and smooth, and potentially this will clean up some of that slop. It still looks kind of potentially nasty here. And there's another might be under advanced quality. Here it is. Only one while on top surfaces. You can put not applied, and in theory that should help with some of this nonsense as well. It's, you know, potentially it's a complete waste of filament, so I'm not saying do this. I'm saying I'm going to try it at some point. So there. But I don't know. I on TikTok, which I kind of watch in the mornings, I'm trying to drink some coffee, like waiting for, like, I take my kids to school, so in the morning I get up, I wake them up, I get my coffee, and then I, you know, have to make sure they're actually moving and doing everything they're supposed to do. And while I'm kind of waiting on them, I usually watch a little TikTok. But I've gotten onto a couple of channels where they just have like bamboo slicer tips, so I'm kind of digging it. All right, I'm gonna turn advanced off because I really usually don't do anything with that. If you're really new and you're just starting to use this thing, you can hit the sync info button up here, and that'll make sure you've got the right nozzle selected for whatever machine you're using. I've got that AMS2 Pro, so it's got all my filaments listed. Who was I talking to? It might have been Chaz, who's probably in the chat that I can't see because I'm sharing my window. But I think he was saying he goes down and he uses the 0.16 instead of the 0.2. And then you can do the high quality instead of standard. And it's going to take longer, but genuinely, I think I'm getting better results printing with this 0.16 high quality using that 0.4 nozzle. I think it's nice. So I'm gonna leave it there. Strength. I'm doing 4 wall loops. I met a dude who does a lot of statues, like life-size statues, and he's a big bamboo dude. And I was real curious because like these things were durable, and he drives them all over the country. He says he does 4 wall loops, and then for his infill, he does like 8% or something, 9%. I'll put 8 on this one. It's just filling the space in between the wall loops on the inside and the outside. It's not going anywhere. I'll make it that. just because I don't know. But that's it. That's the only thing I'm changing is the wall loops and the sparse density. And I really haven't had any kind of infill issues to worry about. So it's kind of where I'm at. Support, you want to enable supports. I don't typically click this box. If I had an issue where it came up, I would, but especially on like the engine part on the Fang, I think leaving this unclicked so that it has the opportunity to build a support without touching the build plate, I think that's great. You can just do like a little support to help, like the hoses or something. So I do that. And I am a fan of skirt loops. I do 2 with a height of 1. And I, with all my heart, hate brims. So I hit no brim. And that's it. Slice plate. Yeah, brims are the devil. That said, I really had a tough time printing the control stick on the Fang and ended up deliberately putting a brim on that because the main supports just kept wanting to wiggle off the build plate, and I use a glue. I do everything I'm supposed to do, but it was an issue, so I've stopped it, and that's it. And I'm not hitting print right now because I gotta actually pull a print off of there first. But that's it. Those are my. Stop sharing before I go back. Haha. And now you don't have to look at infinity. But yeah, that's how it's going. Uh, Matthew, hey, how's it going? Thanks for the tune in. So yeah, I'll tell you guys about this. So I was invited by Matthew, who's in the chat, to attend the Northern Colorado Toy Guild meetup. It was their 4th or 5th, and there we go, another guy from that. Thanks for showing up, guys. I had a blast, man. You guys, so I really I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know anyone like going into it. Then I showed up and I knew one of the dudes, and he's cool guy, and everyone's super friendly and like I'm unaware of anyone else who's doing it like this. Fortunately, they've got the space. They've got a friend who's got enough space that they've got like a. You can correct me in the chat, guys, because you're in here. Like a fairly permanent like photo room setup with lights and tables and backdrops and everything. And so they meet up once a month, and it seems like they've got a theme for each one. And it was Mythic Legions last night, and they do toy photography. They help each other out and they talk, and we ate some pizza, and I had an absolute blast, and I'm looking forward to going back. So, and a couple of them came out, so thank you. What else? So, yeah. So for February, the Fang was kind of the get from the Patreon few folks. The Sharks come in. It's actually it's going so much better than I thought it would. I had such a time with it. When I did it 4 years ago, and I was still kind of learning the software and didn't have the experience I have now. It was a rough build for me a little bit. And a lot of it was like the cockpit stuff and getting the tolerances right, and then just printing on the old, now very obsolete 3D printers that I had. It was just an altogether rough experience, and I was never happy with it. And now I wanted to touch it up, and I decided it's just gonna be easy to rebuild it, so that's what I'm doing. And it's going great. It's going really well. So that's gonna be done soon. Like I'm heading out to ZoloCon. Shoot, day after, no, on Thursday. On Thursday, I'm flying out to Pennsylvania for ZoloCon. So I don't think there's any way I get the Shark done this week, but then next week I'll get back and I'll knock it out. It'll be done, and then that'll be like an early March release. Off the bat, like if for anybody who had the old Shark, I did not do the torpedoes on the bottom. And that was more like my brain protesting that the torpedoes on the bottom were meant to come off and you could like put a figure there. And in my head, if a dude was hanging on to this flying brick when it hit the water, they would just turn to mush instantly. They would just die. And so like I just didn't that was just driving my suspension of disbelief is broken. That's where my brain went. So I didn't put the damn things on, but I'm putting them on now. But they're also not gonna you're not gonna be able to just grab your classified shipwreck and plug him in because all their little backpack holes are all over the place. And so I mean you're not gonna be able to plug a figure into it, but it will have torpedoes this time. Yeah. So initial Goose was saying, you know what, I can put this up. He wants me to have a little compartment for baking soda. Believe me, I actually thought about it. Um, but it's so big. It unless you've got a jacuzzi in your house, like this thing isn't going in your bathtub. It's just too goddamn big. But I do want to make like a little one. Just once I've got the outside, like kind of just filling the whole thing, creating the compartments I need for the inside shouldn't be a big deal. That'll be a fun little something you can print and make a little working submarine. So give it to your kids to play in the bathtub. Cool. What else? What else? Not much progress on the laser rifle. I had to order some stuff, and some of it came, and the thing I need first didn't. So, um, yeah, that's on pause. And then I have just normal work stuff that actually has to take up most of my time. Um, Chugging away, and I'm going to talk to some guys at ZoloCon about if I can do sneak peek kind of stuff because at least one of them is going to be there of the two jobs that I'm currently working. At least one will be there, so I'll talk to him and see if I can show off some stuff. I'm pretty jazzed about it. And I need to talk to Bobby too if I can kind of sneak peek some Action Force stuff for you guys. That'd be fun. Yeah, 164 scale. I don't know, like so. Since you brought it up, dude, I've got a friend who does the GI Joe 3D printing podcast with me named Mike, who does like micro machine GI Joe vehicles, kind of like the guy we always say is the godfather of like GI Joe 3D printing is now I can't think of his name on Thingiverse. If you go on there, he's got just like 100 and some little vehicles that he did like a decade ago. It's driving me nuts. It's on the tip of my tongue. His name. Anywho, he did like the bulk of the original work for like little miniature GI Joe vehicles, but long enough ago that the machines have come a long way. So Mike does stuff he didn't do and kind of updates things, and he does really great work. But it's like little tiny. So if you go to his Instagram, it's Technoviper. And when he posts pictures, he'll put like a next to whatever it was, and he prints everything in FDM. And I can't reach it right now. The pictures don't do the prints justice because they're zoomed in so much. But like to the naked eye, these things are amazing. Yeah, but and what gets you is the layer lines. When you zoom in a lot, you see the layer lines. But to the naked eye, these things are gorgeous. They're so much fun, and I've got a nice little collection going. Anywho, so there are people kind of doing the teeny tiny market, and I think 164 is a bit bigger than like a Matchbox, but anywho, yeah. So I don't need like big new news. Oh, I did. I brought this yesterday to show these guys. So I did want to just kind of say, hey, I did actually print this thing. It's so ugly, it's beautiful. I I love it. Man, I remember going into a Sears once as a kid. It would have been 86 because that's what year this thing was. And I remember seeing the 2-pack of the Skyhawk and the Fang in the Dreadnought Air Assault. And I remember just thinking, my God, that's stupid. and kind of turning my nose up at it. Because I didn't have I didn't have at the time. I didn't have either one of them, and I wanted the original. I wanted the original Fang. Like that's the one that was in the cartoon and the comics, and that's what I wanted. And seeing this atrocious eyesore of a thing as my only option, just like as a child, I was offended, and now I wish I had one because it's probably worth a damn fortune. That's kind of going to be it. Next Monday, I'm not home from ZoloCon yet, so I'm probably not doing this. I gotta see. Like if it's like just me alone in a hotel room, maybe, but I'm not sure. I wasn't. Yeah, I don't know. So probably no show next Monday because I'll be traveling, but then I'll be back after that. Yeah. So initial goose. Yeah, the colorways of the dreadnoughts really did make them pop. Uh, yeah, I was toying with the idea of taking the colors on this thing and kind of starting with it like a base black or white, just like a color, like one neutral color Fang, and airbrushing these colors on to make it look like like it was spray canned on, like graffitied on. And maybe someday I'll get the time to actually follow through with that thought. We'll see. I don't. There we go. Dragonfly. Um, I hadn't even thought about doing a dragonfly. Everyone that's been done has been done with like a modern twist to it, which is appropriate and I like. But like doing the no kidding original, I don't think I've seen anyone do like a no kidding, like completely retro dragonfly. So maybe we'll put that on the list. I'll tell you what, the damn I think they're just called propellers. They're nice and flat, and there's no sag, there's no bend. That was kind of my, the dragonfly I have is what 35, 40 years old, and like they just they look sad. They look weepy. But yeah, we could make them nice and straight with the even just PLA. So all right, I'm gonna call it night. I know this is a quick one. And that's kind of all this is meant to be. It's like kind of I'm not a fan of typing too much. So if I get good questions or comments or suggest whatever in the Patreon, I'd really rather just like speak my mind than try and type it. And I think it's a lot easier for people to ingest. If I end up, writing a damn book as a comment in a post, I don't think people really read that stuff too much. I'd rather just talk. Yeah. So so that's gonna be it for this week. Catch you guys next time. If you have comments, questions, concerns, feel free to message me either through the Patreon or you can do it through the Mark II Design Facebook page. Um, that's it's easier to kind of keep track of the Patreon stuff because the messages go to one place. On the Facebook page, because it's a business page, it goes through Meta, and Meta's just it's the devil. Meta's the devil. I don't like them. But in a pinch, you can send me a message that way. And then if it's a quick answer, like 3, I'll just respond to you. But if it's something that requires a little thought or, I'd really just rather kind of answer that stuff here this way. So that's it. Thanks again, guys. And I will